what's up, 7.3 fans? Welcome back to the 7.3 Garage. You guys just saw the last video. The old man and I got the engine out onto the stand, and today our goal is to get the cylinder heads off. We're going through the lifters and some of the valve train stuff here, but you can see we have the driver's side head is off. Everything looks pretty decent. There's a couple things I'll show you guys that we kind of discovered going through this. Some stuff makes sense to me so far, some stuff does not. I'll talk about that on this side here. But we have all of the hardware off, all the studs are out off of the driver's side, and this head is ready to come off. So that's going to be next, and we'll show you guys what we find underneath this cylinder head. Those of you who have watched this this rebuild process in the past, I did a video a couple years ago in regards to getting the valve train right on this. After we put this engine in, I had a Comp 910 valve spring, and we ended up finding out that those valve springs are great, but they didn't have the right amount of seat pressure for the boost pressure I was running. So I ended up switching to a beehive style spring. Long story short, this cylinder back here, cylinder number 8, actually ended up floating a valve on the same side. Or I think it was the same. What is that? The exhaust valve there, or the intake valve? That's the exhaust valve. So you can see that it has a stamp on the piston. We're gonna check it thoroughly. As long as there's no cracks, it should be good to go. I did not get valve cut release in my pistons. I just something I just didn't want to do. It's not bad. I just didn't want to, at the time spending a lot of money. I just figured, it'll be fine, and ended up being okay. The good thing about the 7.3 is the valve sits 90 degrees to the piston, so if the piston does hit it, usually just shoves it back up into the head, which is nice. It'll break a rocker arm or something like that. But once we take a closer look, we'll be able to have a better idea of if there's any more damage on the piston. But I think as of right now, we're doing pretty good. So we're going to get this down, get this head gasket off, get this hardware out, and then take a look at the lifters on this side. See how fucked up that is?
Yes. Yeah, see how those gaskets are walled out, Dan? First one jumping around.
Oh, here too.
Yep.
That cylinder broke as well at one point.
Yeah, but somebody put this in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Is that a piece of masking tape?
It looks like to me. That's what it feels like. I don't know. Does anyone know what that is? I've never. Have you ever seen that before? You've never seen it before? No. All right. You guys are just joining us and aren't really up to speed as to what's going on here. Well, what prompted this whole thing was had an issue, heard a thumping out of the valve, or excuse me, I had a thumping out of the air intake. I noticed after driving the truck around, which kind of prompted me to pull the valve cover, check underneath, and see what was going on. So if you guys are up to speed, this is where we're at. I wanted to point out this is the exhaust valve on the driver's side of the engine. This is cylinder number 8. So if you guys see here, I was able to look at this with a bore scope. We put the bore scope down. This is our problem lifter here that looks like it's collapsed. We're going to take this out in just a second. But I had kind of gone back and forth about just taking the whole cylinder head off, leaving the engine in the truck, replacing the single lifter, and putting it back together. Well, I'm glad that I did this, and I'll show you why. When I was taking this apart this morning, I showed my pops when he got here, but this is the opposite side. This is cylinder number 7. Take a look at this lifter. Dad, you want to point that out to him real quick, and then let me get the other pieces. I pulled this out. That is the exhaust valve on cylinder number, sorry, the intake valve on cylinder 7, and this fell out when I pulled the push rod out. So if we had just pulled off this cylinder head and not taken this side off or taken the whole engine out, this would have been a problem in the future. So I'm glad I kind of went with my gut and did this, The adage I've always been told, I think I've said it before, is if you're going to buy a new pair of shoes, you buy 2 pairs of shoes, right? Not one. So I'm glad we did this, but we're going to get more into this. I'm going to swing over here in a second and get this, what do you call it? This retaining plate off, and let's see what we got underneath here. This is one of the best tools if you guys are going to be trying to do some engine work. These telescoping magnets you can get anywhere. Hardware stores, auto parts stores, they got them. Just buy a couple and throw them in your toolbox. They're a fantastic addition to your toolbox. You can use them for anything. They're take lifter. There's our intake lifter. So there's what the normal one should look like. Good to go. We showed you guys this in the first video when we started talking about this problem that we're having. We're trying to get this one out. The other one. Can you watch that while I do that?
Yeah.
So we're going to try and roll the motor over here and see if we can get this lifter up. It's not in the right position. I guess it doesn't really matter because it's broken anyway. So.
Yeah, but it's coming up now. It's turning.
It's on this.
She's caught me.
Actually, it's stuck.
Got it.
You got it?
Well, did it come up at all?
It did. That's where I got it, and it stopped. Is the lifter moving or no? What is that? Can you throw the magnet on the lifter and move it up and down?
Yeah.
So this is separate. Oh, okay. Try that. Pull it up.
It's hitting something.
Oh, you know why? The lifter is like fucking deformed.
This is the one that's broke.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that roller. Woo!
It's fucked.
Oh yeah, that's fucked up bad. That's an, oh yeah. Pull it up again.
I'm moving it.
I know, I'm watching it. Stand by. Pull it up.
Is it like it's gonna mess the inside of the block up?
That's what I'm worried about, but
We can leave it.
what do you mean?
Well, you have to take it to a machine shop.
Yeah, fuck, all those needle bearings are gone. Oh,
But
we may not be able to get that out. I think that it almost is like the ends are like flared.
yeah, because it pushed up.
And I don't want to yank it because it'll fucking it'll.
I mean, we can't push it down. Well, we could push it down after the cam's out.
Look at it. Look at, dude. This is bad. Look at this fucking roller. Yeah, it was like this. It was like this for a long time. I mean, you guys can see that in there. That flat thing should be your roller. That's been like that for a long time.
Yep.
That wasn't new.
That's exactly what happened to mine.
Yep. So you guys can see that. That's the bottom of the roller on that lifter. It should look like this. I don't know how well you can see that, but it should look like that. And so that's been like that for quite some time. So our problem right now that we're having, you guys saw me trying to get that out, I was struggling with it, is the skirt, the bottom part of the lifter down here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's actually flared out. So when you go to try to pull it out, it's actually hitting on the casting on the side. So we're going to get the rest of this stuff off and see if that's something we're going to be able to get out on our own. If not, we're going to take it to a machine shop and have them get it out, because if I just yank on that, it can mar that up and score it, and it'll never be right again. So we're going to keep moving. We're going to time lapse getting the rest of the studs out here and see what else we can find.